a few tight ends that I think. This is actually a really intriguing tight end list in week 10. Probably the more deep positions of all of them on the waiver wire. Starting off with, I'd say, it's a tie between Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith being the ceiling play here, but Hunter Henry being more of the floor. So we'll talk about Hunter Henry first. His first game without Bourne and Devontae Parker out. He ties for the team lead with 7 targets. He does haul in the team's only passing touchdown, 4 catches, 39 yards. It's been a long time since he had been fantasy relevant. In fact, not really since week 2 had we seen much from him. But don't forget, as this offense was finding its bearings, he did have Hunter Henry back-to-back 14-plus fantasy point efforts to kick off the season, was the tight end 1 in fantasy for the first 2 weeks. We've seen him have 20, even borderline 30-point days with Matt Jones at the helm before. So they do have good chemistry together, and I could see this continue to ignite. A lot more slot snaps. Got a big boost in that here, too, Hunter Henry did. But the ceiling is with that ex-Patriot, Jonnu Smith. Crazy that these Patriots could never figure out how to use this guy, but Arthur Smith, the bozo of all bozos, actually does one thing right, and that's use Jonnu Smith. 6 targets, 5 catches, team high, 100 yards, and a touchdown in the first game without Drake London. We'll see how long that injury lingers, but Jonnu Smith did lead the team in all meaningful receiving categories compared to just Kyle Pitts' 5 targets, 4 catches, 56 yards, an okay day, but it was Jonnu really getting it done. He is so athletic. In fact, on his touchdown, he reached a top-end speed of 21.15 miles per hour, 60-yard score there. That's the 3rd fastest speed a tight end has ever logged since they began tracking miles per hour on next-gen stats. He's just the 3rd tight end to hit 20-plus miles per hour in history, and just the only one to do so this season, and actually since the beginning of last season. So that is really just elite talent. And they've got a cakewalk schedule, the Falcons. Why I know Bijan Robinson's causing some headaches. I know it's an ugly team, but their schedule down the stretch, especially the fantasy playoffs, is really juicy. So Jonnu Smith ekes out over Hunter Henry. Both guys intriguing, but in fact, my favorite tight end on this week 10 waiver wire is Cade Otton, only 5% rostered right now. He has a whopping 9 targets, 6 catches, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns, barely missing a 3rd score too. Had a huge day there. And yeah, sure, it was a juicy matchup, and he did what he should do against them. 2nd worst against tight ends are the Texans, in the 4th best against receivers. And you got to be a little bit wary that script is going to flip these next 2 weeks. The Titans are 26th versus receivers, but 2nd best against tight ends. San Fran, 3rd best matchup for wide receivers, but 7th against tight ends in terms of the 7th hardest matchup there. So you got to be a little wary there. But I do think these underlying usage metrics for Cade Otton right now, 91% snap share or higher in every single game, including over 80% of routes in every single game. It's after 69% snap share last year as a rookie. He has top 5 routes in all tight ends here. And now the usage is starting to follow that with 6 targets in 3 straight weeks. And again, last week, 30% target share, 11th among all pass catchers. That includes wide receivers in the league. And this is a guy, he had a 96th percentile Cade Otton dominator rating in college, very close to Trey McBride in that ability to shoulder his entire college offense when he was just a young lad over there. And so very impressive. Pass blocker, no, not so much, but playing a ton in the slot, moving all over the place. Great usage, route shares, and finally starting to see the production follow there with defenses keying in on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So those 3 wrap up my early picks there. My top tight ends, again, Cade Otton, then Jonnu Smith, then Hunter Henry. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.